Hello, traders. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are connected. Welcome to UrueMarkets. Today is a beautiful day, a wonderful day. What we want to share with you is special. How to profitably trade gold, Bitcoin, US oil using the Gann arc and trend. How to profitably trade. Indeed, you can trade any assets, commodity, futures, just about anything using our structure, using our Gann arc settings and using the trend. So what you have on the screen right now is the Gann arc for gold. Now, I'll take you through how to see the next big target, the next biggest target, where gold is looking at, where it is going. That's what we want to show you. And as you can see, we just want to show you the bare chart that shows only the trend and the Gann arc. And I believe even if you you close your eyes, you can see it. Even if you close your eyes, you can see it. Yeah. All right, just look at this. Look at what gold did. And pay attention to the arcs. Pay attention to what the arcs is showing you. Number one, the arc says that as soon as gold crossed this line, this arc, let me expand it so you see it, the next target was this one. As soon as it popped out of this, the next target was this. It popped out of this, it wanted to shoot up, it came down a bit, the next target was this. And then the cycle continues on and on. So with this, just with this alone, you can see where gold is looking at the next big target. That gold is looking at, I'm going there, that's where I'm going, follow me. Buy if you want to get there with me. Now, this was for the year 2024, as you can see. 2024, you saw that gold went up, and as soon as it got here in October of 2024, it dropped. Why did it drop? There was no other big target to aim for. The year was ending, there was no other target. As you can see, nothing else is here. So why am I wasting my energy going up when there is no big liquidity to pick? And that's what gold did here. Go back here again, just follow the arc, pop out, target the next one, pop out, target the next one, drag a little bit, pop out, target the next one, come down, arc again, target the next one. And the same cycle continued in 2025, just last year. Look at this again. Pop out of this, target the next one. Pop out here, target the next one. Blew past this, came back, leaked liquidity from it. Just look at this. Leaked the liquidity, targeted the next one. Pop out of this, target the next one. Went straight for this. We announced these on our Telegram channel. October 21 was when gold was going to fall last year. We said it and it happened. We announced it again November 5 that it was going to come up and break the arc and keep going up. We announced it, we shared it with you. And again, look at this on October. Yes, at this time, October 20, there was 21, there was no other liquidity to aim for. It had to fall. Look, just look, nothing else here. So why am I targeting empty space? Gold doesn't move without intention. Gold aims, it targets, it gets there. Again, look at this. Pop out, target the next one. Pop out, target the next one. Just keep going, rising and rising. And now we are in 2026. We'll talk to you about these two. Now let's go back to 2024. Again, we just want to show you how to trade profitably with Gann arc and trend just by looking at the chart. And our trend is not marked after the market had passed. No, look at this. Just look at this for 20. Price has not gotten here. Today is March 22, 2026, but we already have trends mapped out till I would not want to tell you, but we have it mapped out for several years. All right, as you can see, trends are already lined up. Look at this. Just look at all these trends lined up. We know when a trend peaks, when it will drop, and that's why we have this lined up right here for you to see. So we go back to 2024 right here. Look at the trend. Now look at these bars, these standing bars. Apart from looking at the arc, just look at the trend. It came into this trend on this day, no momentum, it dropped a little bit. Remember our rule for the arc. So by just combining the arc and the trend, you can trade profitably. Our rule for the arc says when price is delaying, is struggling, is sliding behind an arc, it meets liquidity, it picks that liquidity, it goes. Now we decided to remove liquidity from this chart so that you can see it very clearly. We have our liquidity, we can bring it in, and you see the liquidity that pushed this price up. Yeah, but just for you to see this chart clearly, we want it to be simple. We wanted to just see the arc and the bars. If we have enough time, we'll go and bring in the liquidity so that you see how it moves. Look at the trend. It came here, hit this line, and it was while the trend was about to end, but it had gathered enough momentum and said, no, I'm going to break this arc. So broke the arc, a new trend, an old trend ended here. This was both the 6 months and the yearly trend, and that's the biggest trend you should follow. Follow only the 6 month and the yearly trend. Yeah, they control the entire year, they control the market. So it popped out here, a new trend started this space, this wide empty space, a new trend started, and that new trend said, gold must rise. And look at the target right here. Why did it slow down? Because that trend ended and a new trend began. And that trend ended when it hit the target, the arc target. It came here, hit the target, and entered the arc. Remember, our rule again applied the beginning of a trend, number one, and when price is sliding within an arc, it meets liquidity, take it, it has to go up, and that is what. So combine this. Price is sliding behind within an arc, number one. A new trend is beginning, number two, just that. You go with it. You buy and gold went up. The next, you can already see the next target. The next target is within this trend, it has to hit this arc. And by hitting that arc, the trend ended and price dropped. Price dropped into this arc. Again, the rule of Urue market, when price is sliding within an arc, it hits liquidity, it has to go up within a new trend. Within a new trend, as you can see. Now, price came, delayed a little bit, and then a new trend started. It had popped out of this arc, taking liquidity within the arc. Guess what? It pushed up in this trend. As this trend was just about to end, it knew that, oh, there's no much momentum to get to this target. I still want to get to that target. I still aim that target. I will cross that target. But here, it had to drop because not much momentum to go. Again, our liquidity showed this. Our timeline showed this. Confluence showed this. So what we're just showing you here is how to trade profitably with simple, the arc, the Gann arc, and the trend. So it came here, delayed a little bit. Price was saying, I'm not going down. Not much liquidity to catch here, no liquidity. So my target is up. So price delayed, entered a new trend, started pushing up, broke the arc, which was the target here, but it broke it here, popped out, and a new trend. When it popped out, it got to the point where a new trend started. Oh, I don't have enough fuel to carry on in this trend. Price dropped. When that trend ended, price saw, gold saw, okay, I have picked up enough liquidity. Since this trend is about to end, I can rise at this point. And so it rose, dropped a little more, saw a new trend started, picked it, and then kept going. Again, the target was the arc. So the arc right here, we've put it here. This is where you see the next biggest liquidity. The next biggest liquidity is always where the arc crosses. Where the arc crosses, where the trend meets the arc, that is always where you need to target. And that is what gold showed you here. Gold kept saying, I always want to go high. And when I get to the height of it and the year ends and there is no other liquidity to pursue, it drops. And then when it drops, gold is always interested in going up. The price of gold is always interested in rising. It dropped again. Our rule applies. It was sliding behind an arc. It meets liquidity. If we bring in our liquidity, you'll see it right there. Our confluence was here to push up and then broke this arc. The year ended. Now, the year ended. Our quarterly Gann arc came out here. Our quarterly Gann arc came out somewhere here and said, you know what? I'm going to push this price even higher. So the arc curved here, slapped price up. And so when we enter 2025, price just kept, going up, up, up. Break this arc, target the next one, break it. At the end of this trend, okay, you're pushing me down. I have picked enough liquidity. That's what gold will say. You push me down. Okay, I pick enough liquidity from here. I'm rising up. Enter this trend. I have not yet reached my target, so no need to fall. Go target the next arc. At the next arc, price slides behind the arc, picks liquidity, breaks that arc, enters into another trend, and so it keeps going. Do you understand what, what we are showing you here? That just by looking at this chart, just by looking at these bars, the trend, and the arc, which is the next big target, you can trade profitably. Just gold kept going. And on this day last year, when this trend ended, this trend that consolidated price, look at this trend somewhere between August 5 and August 26, price consolidated. After that, gold said, no, I'm not going to stay here with you. A new trend has started. I have to push. And then pushing up, the target was I need to push up before the other trend meets me. And my target is I need to hit that arc right there. And gold did. Consolidated a little bit within the arc, and a new trend was starting. It pushed up. And that is where we saw that big bullish move between September and October of last year. And take note, within that period, trend always is high, either up or down. And that was also the period when we saw Bitcoin crash last year. The trend for Bitcoin is there. We'll show you that too. So it got here, no more liquidity to target. It dropped. And as the year was ending, it popped out of this arc, waiting to enter 2026. And when 2026 came, picked liquidity from here. Here we saw the last angle for the year. The Gann last angle showed us that this is where it would buy, and it popped from there, picked liquidity, popped this arc, and kept going. Entered a new trend and said, my target is this bigger arc for the year. And when it got there, it dropped. It came back still to the arc of the year, the yearly Gann arc, picked liquidity, a new trend was starting, broke this arc, it could not continue. This trend said, you know what? You have bought enough. Now let us sell. Now that is where gold is selling. Last week we predicted that gold was going to sell, and amazingly it did. The price dropped, which is what has gotten us to where we are today that we're making this video. Guess what? Price is resting within the yearly arc. Price always wants to go where the liquidity is much. So in the next video, we'll share with you our prediction for next week, which is the week of March 23 to which begins tomorrow, March 23 to March 27. And then we'll tell you where gold is headed for next week. Our prediction brought us down here for, okay, are we within last week or within next week? We're still within the week we made the prediction. So, but today is Sunday and the market has closed, but within Monday and Friday, the market did as UrueMarkets said it should do. It should do. Now, look at this. When price is sliding in front of an arc. What do you think it's looking for? What do you think it's looking for? Same here. When price was sliding behind this arc, it was looking for liquidity, and it picked that liquidity when a new trend was beginning, and then it went up, broke this arc. So now price has finished a bearish trend for this week, but it's unable to go up into a new trend with much momentum. So price says, I need more fuel, I need some liquidity. Remember, gold target is always the next big liquidity. It can't fly up here to take this liquidity. It's coming down for some refueling. It's coming down to leak more liquidity so that it can go up. Now look at what we see for the year. Gold is currently at 4,490. Do you see, just by looking at this chart, by looking at our trend and our arc, do you see why analysts say that gold is headed for 10,000? Just let me give you a second to do that. Do you see why analysts say gold is headed for 10,000 this year? Whether it gets there this year or not, because gold always targets to meet the last arc before the year ends. We just entered 2023. This is 3 months in. See where gold is? It's trying to pick up some liquidity to go higher. Now see where 10,000 is, right here, right there. So do you think that gold will do some moves as it does, and then, as it always does, and then target this? Okay, is that the target for gold? Analysts say 10,000 is the target, but can you just see that possibility? Because gold always rises. Do you see that possibility just by looking at our chart here? We show you the trend, where the trend is. We show you where the arc is. The next thing is just to wait for gold to do what it does best, which is keep rising. And that is it. So right now, we can tell you that just by looking at our chart here, you see the possibility of gold continuously rising, as you can see. It's entering a new trend. It entered a new trend last week on March 17, but the momentum was not there. So it wants to lick up this liquidity. This trend should end seeing gold standing. So gold will reverse somewhere in the middle of this trend and then rise again. That is what we foresee for gold, because it has picked enough liquidity here. It may drop a little more under this arc. And remember, when it drops under an arc, it's to pick liquidity hidden under there and then rise up again. So that is it. Now let's switch over to Bitcoin and show you how to understand what has been happening to Bitcoin and what will happen to Bitcoin in the future, just by looking at our Gann arc. Again, we're showing you the bear Gann arc. Just look at it, understand it, and see that we are simply explaining clarity to you. We're showing you how it is. Now look at Bitcoin starting from 2024 January. Bitcoin rose, broke this again. Just use your eyes. It always targets the next big liquidity. The next big liquidity, where are they? Where you see the Gann arc cross our trend. So gold lifted itself, Bitcoin, Bitcoin lifted itself up here. In that year was very bullish. 2024 was bullish for Bitcoin. It peaked here. There was a trend here, right here. You can see our trend. It kept going. Our bar. Now take note of this. Where UrueMarkets bar, Gann arc meets the trend, always target that. Where our Gann arc meets trend, that is within that trend. that is where gold, Bitcoin, that's where the target, as you can see, where our arc meets our trend, you can always see how price goes there. Just so if we give you this chart, if we say use our chart, just go with that. Price is looking for where the arc, the yearly arc, and the year carries the biggest liquidity, where it meets the trend. So back to our review, 2024, price peaked from here, hit this and said, I've not taken enough, I'll pass. Came up here, hit this. Trend was here, pushed price upward. Trend was here, a new trend. This trend ended, price consolidated, a new trend started, hit this. I said, I must reach this. And when it got there, it consolidated a bit. And you remember, when price slides in front of an arc, peaks liquidity, it has to rise. And when it rose, it got here. This resistance did not allow price to pass. This trend was not enough. Even if it had passed here, there would have been a bigger space here for it to struggle, so it had to come down. Remember, when price slides behind liquidity, behind the arc, it's looking for liquidity to break that arc. And also, it's good to know that price keeps going like this. Price goes forward, right? So anything in front, it will find a way to either break it or come down, take it and go up. So that's how price keeps going. So since this price was going forward, there it was only a matter of time that it would break this, because it just has to keep going. It has to keep going ahead. That's how the market moves. The market doesn't go backward, it goes forward, upward, or downward. But the direction is forward. So it broke here, there wasn't enough momentum, it dropped, came back down to that same yearly location where the arc meets that new trend right there. Picked it up and then went up. A new trend opened, it got liquidity by dropping a little bit and then rose up, broke this arc, kept going up. Remember, just watch where the arc crosses liquidity. Excuse me, where the arc crosses the trend right there. You see that? That was the target right there. You see that? That was the target right there. You see that? That was the target from down right there. You see? That was the target from down. All right. Now, again, we come all the way. I want to show you what will happen. This is part of the prediction, but just by looking at this, remember we tell you when price is sliding in an arc, what is it about to do? Break it. Simple. When price came here, it was in this arc. Now let me invert this arc so that you see clearly what we're explaining. If Bitcoin was bullish, what do you think would happen at this point? If Bitcoin was bullish and it's been struggling behind this arc, according to our rule, when it peaks liquidity at this point, we had the high and low of the year, right where the arc tips. At this point, price had peaked liquidity. Bitcoin had peaked liquidity. We'll tell you more in our prediction. But look at what will happen. Definitely, without any doubt, Bitcoin will fall. It will keep falling because right here we can see if it was bullish. Now I had to invert this arc this chart so that you can see if it was bullish. Now look at this. If it was bullish, it will break the arc. Bullish, break the arc. Now bearish. Now in this case, I inverted the arc so that you see it at this point. Now it has seen plenty liquidity here. So why reverse? So Bitcoin will break this, take liquidity, target somewhere lower before it come down, or may even take this liquidity and then start coming up later. Remember, I inverted this scale, so let me take it back. So what we expect in the natural sense, Bitcoin will break this level downward, pick this, struggle again here, perhaps even break this, and then go up. So we're expecting that Bitcoin at this moment, it is still very much bearish. That's what UrueMarkets can confirm for you, because it can't slide up at this point. It can't slide up at this point. It has to break this. Remember, price is going forward. It has to break this and then drop, pick some more liquidity somewhere around the end of April. It might meet this liquidity right here, start going up, break it even further, and then it'll start going up somewhere after, within May or so. That's what we foresee for Bitcoin. It has to go down a little more and take more liquidity. So did you pick any lesson? Did you have any value from this class today? That one, you can trade profitably just by using our Gann arc and trend. Only that. Just look at this. You see price break this here. There is no relenting. It has to keep going. You see price dance. It's like it's the way you see when you see someone dancing around a place. You know, oh, that person, he wants to go into that place. You see price dancing around here. He wants to break here. You see price coming here. And this is, look at this. This is the very same scenario we are seeing for Bitcoin. Because gold was bearish here, gold was bullish here, it broke this. That is exactly what we're predicting, that Bitcoin at where it is right now, it has to break that liquidity so that it has more momentum. You can see everything looks very red. So expecting look at that. Expecting Bitcoin to break this level and go down. And that should happen within next week, the week we're soon entering. All right. So and that prediction will tell you more about that. In the meantime, thank you very much for tuning in. We love you. We are UrueMarkets. We welcome investors, traders who want to learn more, and institutions. You're very welcome to consult with UrueMarkets. Please like our video, follow our YouTube channel, and share. Thank you very much. Until we see